Hey guys, want to make another video. I got my cylinder heads in. I'm going to go over a little bit with the MB heads that I purchased. I do want to say Happy New Year. I want to talk about a few things. What I'm going to be doing in 2020. Getting ready for the upcoming season. I think it starts in March. Is a race, but I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. I still got a lot of work to do. Got to build the headers. I still got to get the motor, the short block out that I have now, and get it to Scott McMillan Racing Engines to put the new pistons in, kind of go over it, look at it, make sure everything's right. The last time he went over it, we don't have like, I don't know, 15 passes or so on it, so it should be, much to really do with it. Maybe a little hone with, and then new pistons and new rings. But other than that, I'm going to kind of go over some things with you. I'm going to talk about some things with it. And then I'm going to take the phone and I'm going to try to do the best I can to get real close up, to some of the things that I talked about. The combustion chambers, the exhaust ports, the intake ports, the rocker bar. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to tell you a little bit. Try to keep it short, not too much. And then I'll show you real close-ups. Sorry about the phone shaking. I got it on the stand. So, but these are the my new MBE 13-degree Wedge Nitrous cylinder heads. These were custom built to my application. You have the intake port and the exhaust ports and the combustion chambers. This head is based off of a Brodex GB series head, but it's not a Brodex casting itself. Matt has Brodex to cast these cylinder heads just for him. He raises the intake. He raises the intake port up 380 thousandths. He widens the rocker stand bar. The valve seats are raised 380 thousandths. The exhaust ports are raised 380 thousandths. That's some of the things that he has them to do for him. So this is his own head. This is his own casting. So, first off, I don't not know what these CCs of the intake ports are, because Matt told me, I asked him, Matt said that it doesn't really matter to him what the runner volume is. Simple states that the only thing he concentrates on is the short turn and the cross section. The cross section is really big, short turn is really big. Depending on the cubic inch limit, the cubic inch size that you're running. I'm running a 434. The short block that we're going to be building will be a 450 inch. So he made this cross sections in these runners to fit that big of a cubic inch. So like I said, he doesn't know. He said they all vary. Different heads vary. You can have a short, fat runner, or you can have a long, skinny runner. It just really depends how he does these and how he CNCs them to your application. Well, this being a nitrous engine, obviously there's going to be a really good big port. He just took a guess. He said they're in between 395 to 305, 310. Somewhere in the ballpark. I can take them and CC them just to see what they are. But it don't matter to me. As long as they do good on this application that I have and what I'm trying to do with them, that's all that matters to me. So go to the exhaust ports. We do not know what the exhaust port CCs, which I never even asked him what the exhaust port CCs are, but they are also raised 380 thousandths over the Brodex design. These are a really big port, guys. It is a spread port style exhaust pattern. I actually got to, I'll show you get real close up to you. These are a really big exhaust port. I mean, for a standard wedge, 13-degree wedge head, or any wedge head, this is one of the biggest ones I've seen. I've seen some that are this size or bigger on a symmetrical port, but for as a standard wedge port with a spread port pattern, man, this thing is big. It is nice. So go to the flow numbers. He did give me flow numbers. Okay. I'm going to go based off of 900 thousand inches of valve lift. He flows all the way up to 1 inch. There's not very much difference in the 900 to 1 inch valve lift. But at 900 inches of valve lift, These cylinder heads here flow 442 CFM on the intake runner. The exhaust port flows 271 CFM on the exhaust port. I thought they would flow a little bit more, but between 900 and 1,000, they only go up to like 272, 273. These only go up to like 445. So I don't know if I said 442, but they're like 442 at 900 inches. At 1 inch, they're 445. But I'm not going to run a 1 inch lift camshaft. My camshaft that we're going to run in this thing, by the time we put the 1.85 rockers, it'll be like an 830 lift. That's all I'm doing with this motor. Now the 450, we might bump up there to the 900 to the 920 inches of valve lift deal. Get it up there at the 900 inch valve lift flow numbers for this thing. This thing's got really good mid-flow number ranges, or mid-range flow numbers. For what they are, I think this thing at 500 inches of valve lift flowed 360 CFM at 500 inches of valve lift. So that's pretty good. That's what my cylinder heads flowed at 850 inches of valve lift that I had on here before. But the combustion chambers, okay. This is a nitrous style combustion chamber. This combustion chamber has been softened. He does anywhere between 28, 30 cc's to 55 cc's. Well, when he asked me what I wanted, we was going to do the 55 cc's, but my engineer got me. I was like, hey, we want to put a little bit of a dome on that piston. So just to be able to slow the burn down to where we have a more range with the timing and stuff like that for this motor. We don't really want to hurt nothing. The flat tops, the combustion chambers are really efficient, but this is a 58 cc combustion chamber with a titanium intake and exhaust valve. With a stainless valve, or for instance, I'm using an Econel exhaust valve. It might bring it to 57 cc's. Because the valve is a little bit thicker. The titanium are thinner valves, but they're stronger because of the material it's made out of. But we wanted it about 60, but he couldn't. He said 58, 59, 57, depending on the valves I use. I'm still debating on the valves that I want to use. If I want to use Matt's Victory titanium valves, or we want to go with somebody else. Right now, money's an issue. If I lose 2 or 3 CFM because of the valve, that's not a big deal, because I'm already going from a 350 CFM flowing cylinder head to almost 450 CFM flowing cylinder head. These heads do flow over 450 CFM on a 600 bench. Matt flows all his on a 1020 bench because he says it's more accurate. I can take this cylinder head and go find somebody else with a 1020 bench and put it on there. It's going to flow the exact thing that he advertises it at. He guarantees them numbers. If not, money back guarantee. So with that, like I said, this is the softened combustion chambers. I will get closer to it to show you more in depth of the softened chambers. But this holds a 223 intake valve, 160 exhaust valve. Big intake valve for sure. But like I said, this is an all-out nitrous cylinder head. This whole thing was designed out from around the big cubic inch small block nitrous engines. He's got a lot of guys that run this head, and he says I'll be really happy with it. A lot of performance up over the 23 degree AFR 245 that I had. He also, like I said, he's also machined all this rocker bar. This is called the rocker bar stand for the stands for the T&D shaft rockers. He widens this almost, he said 300 to 500, I remember the exact number, but almost a ½ inch wider. And the reason he widens this rocker bar right here, because some of the rocker bars on this typical top style head is narrow. But when you do that and you bolt the rocker arms down with a big high lift camshaft, a lot of spring pressures, it tends to want to, the rocker stand itself wants to teeter-totter a little bit. So he widens this to where it has a better platform. These will hold. By the time you bolt the rocker stand on, and the rockers on itself will have 24 bolts holding all this on above the standard Brodix GB head. I don't know exactly how many, but I do know there is more. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's 4 or 6 more bolts that holds all this on compared to the other, over the regular GB rocker stand. Rocker stands. We are going to use. He has his own. T&D makes sets for this head. What it is, there's not an offset on the rockers. They are actually turned on the rocker stand to where you don't have that big offset. A lot of these, like my other ones, had a 650 or 700 thousandths offset. These will not have that. These rockers, like I said, they are turned and they angle in, so you don't have that where it causes a weak point at the rocker tip. But we are going to go with a 1.85. I have 1.7 TNDs on my AFRs. These are going to be a 1.85 MBE/TND rocker setup. We're going to have to send this back. Okay, here's why I'm sending it back. I'm having a billet manifold made. Matt's going to make me a billet manifold. I'm going to go do away with the sheet metal. And here's one reason. I don't have the funds to purchase the other carburetor. I have a 1100 CFM carburetor that we're going to send back and have it redone to a 1250. It is a Nitrous Pro 4 from Pro System. Patrick does all my carburetors. I've really liked it. I like the customer service I get with Patrick. I pick up my phone anytime, and if I'm at the tracker net, and call Patrick, and Patrick will work with me through whatever I need. I've done it. Had problems with the carburetor idling right. I called him up at the racetrack and went and bought a drill bit to drill out one of the jets, not the fuel jet, one of the little jets that's in the metering block, because it was not getting enough fuel through to keep the car idled. And I called him up at the racetrack on a Saturday, and he walked me through it. We done it, started the car bit idled just fine. So I will keep as long as I'm on carburetor, I will use Pro Systems. They are some really good people. They make really good carburetors. But we're going to use a billet manifold, like I said, because Matt says that his all billet manifold, it is a two-piece design manifold, will outperform a sheet metal manifold with a single carb top. So one reason why I'm doing that, because if I go, this motor here is 434, is a 9-inch deck height. Yes, cringe, I know. It is still a 9-inch deck height. I have a 6-inch rod. It still has a short compression height. I'm getting away with that with the 450. So I'm not going to go and get a Dart Iron Eagle block, raise cam, all that stuff, just so I can go back to 434. I'm going to put a 4 1/8 inch stroke in it, crankshaft in it, and we're going to make it 450 cubic inches and step up, because like I said, we also told Matt about these when he did these heads, so they are also going to be really good for the 450. But for the 434 that I have now, that's what we're just gonna run these on until I can get the other short block built. But anyway, back to the billet manifold. Like I said, he said it will outperform. One thing about it is, really, like I said, the reason I'm not doing a sheet metal is because when I step up to the taller deck height, the sheet metal will be no good. That's the reason. I'm like, if I got to, I was wanting to change heads. I wanted to change heads. I wanted to go to like an 18 degree. But the manifold wasn't going to work. So, to say, I had to get a different manifold. I didn't want to have to do that, but I had to get a different manifold. So I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get the heads that I really want then. If I got to get a new manifold, I'm going to get the heads that I really want, and then I'll get the sheet metal manifold for that. Well, guess what? I still got a 9-inch deck height. The manifold, if I had it built, it's only going to fit the 9-inch deck height. Unless I put spacers stuff in it on the intake flange, and Matt don't recommend doing that. It works, but it's not as good as what he says that I could do with his billet. His billet manifold is a 2-piece, so it comes in half in 2 pieces. So what will happen is he'll make it for a 9-inch deck height. When I go to the tall deck, if I go to the Iron Eagle or to aluminum block at 9.325 deck height or 9.5-inch deck height, I'll send him the manifold back. With the heads, he'll set it all up for 9.325 or 9.5-inch deck height, whichever one I choose to go to, and he will mount it to the head, make it at the 9 whatever deck height I want, and he'll put a spacer right in the middle. I have pictures of what he done with one. The guy went from one deck height to another, and instead of getting a whole new manifold done, he made a spacer right in the middle of it. So now what that does is, it also changes the plenum volume. So when you're a 9-inch deck height, 430 inches, and you go to a 9.5-inch deck height or 9.325 deck height with a 450, 460 cubic inches, it raises it and it makes the plenum volume bigger, which is what you need for big cubic inch small blocks. That's what tames some of these. Is the reason there's not a cast manifold out there for this, because they for one, by the time you cut up one like an another block or something like that, time you cut up one and have it widened and all that stuff and spend the $3,000 to get it all modified, it still doesn't have a plenum volume big enough. So Matt builds his and cuts his out of a big chunk of aluminum, aluminum, and makes to where the plenum volume is right for these cylinder heads. Because one, the ports are too big, they're raised up too high. A regular manifold wasn't fit. Matt used to do the manifolds and cut them up, but he was still lacking with some airflow through the manifold because of the plenum volume wasn't big enough. So I'm going to go ahead and get the billet manifold. And yes, I'm not going to be able to run 2 carbs, but I will be able to change. I won't have to go buy another $3,800 manifold by the time I want to go to the bigger deck height. I'm just not going to do that. So I can take the same manifold and put on different deck heights, and Matt just kind of built them in spacer and widens it a little bit. Changes the flange back on the carburetor, puts the spacer plate on that. We're good to go. Carburetor sits right on top of it, and boom. Now I got the same manifold I bought for a 9-inch deck height, and now it's on a 9.5 or 9.325 deck height. No issues there. So that's the reason I don't want to do a sheet metal, because like I said, once I do a sheet metal, it's over with. Sheet metal, it's what it is. I got a big $3,800 piece of chunk of aluminum. It's no good to me. Yes, can I sell it? Probably, but it's harder to sell a manifold to fit this head than it is for me when I sold my Hogan's to fit a 23 degree head, because that 23 degree head will fit any 23 degree head, non-raised runner. This runner's raised, guess what? That sheet metal manifold is only going to fit on this head. It's not going to fit on another Brodex 2300 series. None of that stuff. This head only. So my chances of selling that is like this. So we're going to go ahead and do the billet manifold with a single carb. We're going to make just as much power. Matt's estimating about 150 horsepower more than what my other one was. My other one made about 750 with a single carb top. It would make 790 to 800 with the 2 carbs where it was dynoed on. It was a dyno only motor when I got it. So what we're going to, like I said, we're going to do the billet manifold. We're going to start off with a 2-stage crossbar Nitrous Express plate system for now, and then maybe when I step up to the 450, I'll send it and let Nitrous Express plumb me 2 foggers in it. But for right now, we're going to run the 2-stage plate. Chris at Nitrous Express says it's going to be it'll be a really good deal for me right off the bat. It's more affordable. Right now, it's money's tight. Time I get these heads done, these heads were $5,800. By the time I get them valved and everything, we're going to be like at $7,800 by the time we get all that done. And then another $3,800 for the manifold, another $2,500 for the rocker system, another $1,600 plus for the pistons and the rings, and the other little knick-knack stuff is really what's going to kill me. $300 here. I got to build new headers, which I'm going with a show and field, build your own with a bunch of bends. I'm going to build these just like I did the other ones. We're going to come out and go at the front fenders. A lot easier to maintain, a lot easier to build that way. It's not going to take me 3 weeks to build them like I did the other ones. But we're gonna go with a 2 1/8 inch primary with a 4-inch collector, and then we're gonna fish it around down and out the front of the fenders somehow. But right now I'm gonna come over and get the phone. I'm gonna show you a little bit closer a view of these. Like I said, I want to make it too long of a video, but I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna be able to turn it, so bear with me the best I can about showing you some of these ports. Now here's some of the exhaust ports. They are very nice. Now I can get up in there as close as I can get, but I cannot tell because I'm not looking at the phone. But if y'all look down inside there, man, that is really nice work to these ports. You don't have the big old huge valve guides sticking down at the bottom, but like I said, spread port style pattern, and if you look, the lightning's been done on the outside of this thing. That is really nice CNC work. It's got the MBE logo, all that stuff. Now we're going to the intake system. Like I said, where the valves and the valve cover area. All of these valve pockets has been raised 380 thousandths. the rocker bar here, it's wider than your typical Brodex rocker bar. Like I said, 24 fasteners. By the time they all get on there, they're going to be 24 fasteners holding this whole thing onto this head. I mean, yes, you can say, well, there's one turn area. That's what makes this head so efficient, is because of the cross section. Like I said, the cross section is all determined on the cubic inches. That's how he comes up with all that. So if you look, the valve guide has been changed, tapered, and everything. You don't have the valve guide sticking down there like you do on most of your factory out of the box cylinder heads. This has been really good work. Like I said, we're going to send it back, and he's going to drill all the holes for the valley tray and everything for the cylinder head itself. If you look, this is an O-ring style, AN fitting style water ports, return ports on this thing. And you also got, if you look, you got a big dash 12 there also to go to the water pump for extra cooling in between the exhaust valves right there in the cylinder head. Alright, so here's the combustion chamber. Alright, so what we ended up doing, we opted out and decided we wanted to do these style of valve seats. These are a copper beryllium, and it's, guys, it's real copper beryllium. It's not your bronze or manganese or anything, or brass or anything like that. It's real copper beryllium. He uses real copper beryllium. It's a lot better of a valve seat. But if you look right here, this angle on this combustion chamber from this point here straight down is the same angle as the first angle on the valve seat. Same as this one, first angle on the valve seat. Because what you want to do, you want the air to stay on the wall and coming all the way down and staying against the chamber when it goes into the cylinder. Because if it doesn't, it becomes turbulent, and everybody knows turbulent air is bouncing around like a tornado. It's not as efficient. So that's the reason these are like this. You can see where he's put pieces in where it's been ported into the runner, but man, this is really nice. Well, here's your 58cc softened combustion chambers. If you look, this is flat. Alright, this is the softened part. What this is tapered down. Also, right here in this little spot, it's tapered down. And the reason this is done like this, because the dome, or if you even have a flat top, is the shape of here. So what this is called the quench area. These two spots are the quench area. And the quench area is when the piston comes up in the cylinder, and if it's got a dome, and the dome comes up inside the combustion chamber part. This is where the two flat parts of the piston and the cylinder head meet. Well, that's called the quench area. When you have a real tight quench area like that, you can cause detonation. So what they do is they taper this just a little bit, so when the piston comes up and it on the compression stroke and it compresses, and then it comes back, and then on the exhaust stroke it fires. What it does, if there's any air caught in here or any fuel caught in here, you don't want it to ignite in here. When that's what they call cranks. That's when you get detonations, when it ignites in this area right here. You want it to ignite in here where it's so opened up. But that's the reason this is tapered, because what it does is when this ignites, and if there is any air or any fuel, raw fuel caught up in here, when it's igniting, it'll push it towards the center of the exhaust valve, or around the combustion chamber part, or the heart-shaped part of the combustion chamber, to keep that from detonating. So this is why they do a softened combustion chamber right here. But like I said, these are 58 cc's, 223 intake valve, 160 exhaust valve, 58 cc combustion chamber, softened. But they are really nice, really nice. Like I said, there's the, you got the lightning process there, the bigger, wider rocker bar system, the raised intake ports has been raised 380 thousandths. But this is some of the look at the cylinder head. They are very nice. This is probably one of the better wedge style cylinder heads that I've seen out there. But we're anxious to put them on, see what they're going to do. I'm gonna put this back over here. Like I said, we're anxious to see what it's going to do. I mean, they're nice. I'm ready to get them on. I'm ready to get the pistons on. The pistons will be a nitrous piston, almost like what I got now, but with the valve angle that needs for these, we're going to try to get the most compression heights we can, because it's going to be a custom piston. So we're going to make it how we want it. If something we might make on this deck height, if it's 9 point, most of these come out 9.025. If this is 9.015, whatever, we're going to incorporate that into the piston to give us that 0.015 taller compression height. Every little bit counts in compression height of a piston on a nitrous engine. You want to get that top ring as far away from that the top of that piston as you can get on a nitrous engine. Like I said, so we're going to continue to run Nitrous Express. They're my sponsors. VP Racing Fuels, Scott Miller Racing Engines. Those are the guys that's on board with me. If I couldn't do nothing without them guys. With that being said, these are my new MBE 13 degree wedge nitrous cylinder heads for 2020. Like I said, I'll make another video showing the billet manifold and the rocker system when I get them in. Once I get the heads completed, we'll probably go to Scott's, and I'll make another video at Scott's showing the completion of the cylinder heads once the valves are in, the springs are on, everything. And then, like I said, kind of March 2020, we're coming out with a vengeance. We'll see what we can do. We opted to go these to get bigger top end power. We're going to go from 750 horsepower to 900 plus horsepower on motor alone. We're going to keep the same nitrous settings, the 400 on the first stage, 200 on the second stage, like I did last year. And we're going to see what it does. Hoping we can get down there in the real low 5.0s, 495, 5.0 range with this motor. And like I said, guys, I run no prep, so hopefully we can get down there. We were really close with the other combo. 150 more horsepower motor, more efficient nitrous cylinder head, for the nitrous itself. Better combustion chambers, we're going to have a better piston. We're going to see what it does. Like, subscribe, share. I'm trying to get some videos out there. Got a friend of mine, Mike Foster YouTube page. Go to his, watch some of his. He's got some real good stuff. You'll probably see me and him linking up maybe in the future. He's one of my teammates and a really good friend. So like I said, y'all have a good day. Have a happy new year. Thank you.